Heather Franklin. I am married to Matt Franklin. We have 3 girls. Annie is 5 and Lacey is 3, and then Bridget turns 1 just in a little bit. And they're pretty awesome. We live in Westmont, and we've been going to Christ Church for almost 10 years. Living on my own, being young, I mean, now as an adult I can say, wow, that was pretty young. I mean, if you would have asked me then, I would have thought I was all grown up. My decision-making skills were not that great. I probably did not surround myself with a community that was life-giving. For me, it was a fun community, and it kept me busy, and I wasn't lonely. Being in a group of people who are in their early 20s, we partied a lot. I mean, you wanted to do something every night of the week. So I filled my time, and probably not well. I can see that looking back, God kind of weaved people in and out of my life, and I can just see that He kind of never let go of me. My young life leader in high school, she's amazing, and so she had invited me along on a young life trip to be a leader of all things. So I went on that trip, and it just kind of changed, it just kind of sparked something in me. I was surrounded by people who were my age, who lived a different life than I was living, and a genuine life. I think that you really get to know God in a different way when you're walking in community with people, and just being able to experience life, just experience the hands and feet of Jesus in community from your peers and from people who just love you. When I was 9 months pregnant with my second daughter, I was at a doctor's appointment right before she was scheduled to be born, and through that appointment, I had a couple concerns about some things that I was experiencing, and ended up getting some tests done, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. We were preparing to have a baby, and we were really excited, and then all of a sudden it went to thoughts of, oh my gosh, who's gonna raise this baby? Like, am I gonna die? I have a 2-year-old, I can't die. I couldn't eat with my 2-year-old anymore. I couldn't look at her. I couldn't put her to bed without like losing it in tears. There was just so much fear surrounding that diagnosis. And so I was diagnosed with breast cancer on a Friday. We kind of had Saturday to ourselves to figure out what was going on, kind of plan for delivery and appointments and next steps. And then Sunday came around, and we had small group. And so we walked into our small group, and we told our small group what was going on. And my husband's family kind of blasted out the news, what was going on, and everybody met us at church that morning. And following the service, we met in the cry room, and Eric Camfield kind of led just a time for our family and our friends to just kind of pray over that situation. It was a Sunday morning. I was being admitted into the hospital that later that afternoon to be induced. And so I left church that morning just feeling so cared for and so loved. And from there I went, gathered with some family, and we just spent a couple hours in prayer, and we felt just a peace. Monday, Lacey, our little Lacey, was born, and she was so healthy and so awesome, and it was great. And then I left the hospital. We were discharged, and I left the hospital. On the way home, I had to pick up some scans that I had because it was go time. When my doctor got a copy of one of my scans that showed a mass in my kidney, and so chemo was canceled. I needed another biopsy, it was possible that the breast cancer had spread, and we were terrified. And so I had the biopsy, and I got a call on a Saturday afternoon from my oncologist, which was awesome that she would think to call on a weekend. And the good news was that it was not breast cancer, but she called it a teeny tiny kidney cancer, and it was totally treatable. And so treatment went as follows. I started chemo, and then after chemo I had a couple surgeries, and then from there I was deemed cancer-free. But through that summer, that was the summer of 2015, I had a new baby. I had a 2-year-old, and I was out of commission. And so it was the MOPS community specifically, along with so many people from the woodwork. So I all of a sudden didn't know how I was going to feed my kid, because she was a baby, she needed milk, and I couldn't give that to her. And so people were sending us formula. It was like an added expense that we didn't have our hands around. And people would send formula to our house, diapers to our house. I think we were fed every day for 6 months. People would leave food. We had to put a cooler on our porch because people would leave food on our porch for us. Friends sent their housekeepers to clean our house. It was amazing. I think everybody should experience a love like that, a love of community and what it means. And it's there whether you have cancer or you don't have cancer. Your community is there, and you can find where God is shining and where He's weaving in and out of your story. He is in my everyday, and I have learned an awareness, just to not miss Him, because He shows up in my day. He shows up in my kids and in His word and in His music. So if I think back to who I was in middle school, who I was in high school, what I would tell myself, I would really encourage myself and kind of challenge myself to seek friendships that were life-giving, or keep looking for those people who are pulling you into goodness, because I don't think it's just people pulling you into goodness. I think that's God kind of saying, I have something for you, I have something to show you. So a verse that has really been a pillar for me was Isaiah 40, verse 11. It says, He tends His flock like a shepherd. He gathers the lambs in His arms and carries them close to His heart. He gently leads those that have young. I had this posted all over my house when I would change diapers and make dinner, just because I couldn't be the mom that I wanted to be for my kids, just because I was recovering and I just couldn't. And I was so worried about them. I was so worried about my family, and if I die, are they gonna be okay? And this verse told me they are gonna be okay. And I think it was easy for me to feel forgotten as a mom. And He kind of reminded me, you're still a mom, and I'm gently leading you. I will be so careful with you, and I am taking care of your kids. Taking care of your kids by sending other people who will love them in my name. And it's just a gracious reminder of who He is and how He loves.